What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thanks for clicking on the video. I highly encourage you to join me and subscribe so you get all of the exciting cosplay information whenever I happen to have time to upload. Today I am doing a video that I said I would do eons ago, and that is a video on the types of foam available for cosplay. Hopefully this video can give you a bit of insight and help on picking what kind of foam you're going to use in your next cosplay build. There's a lot to go through, so let's get started. So this is your standard craft foam that you would find in a Michaels. Usually that craft foam will be brightly colored and for kids crafts. This was a full sheet, 5-foot by 2-foot sheet that I bought through Amazon. This is like what you're gonna use on a lot of stuff like details. With the 2mm craft foam, you can often get away with using hot glue very carefully to attach pieces to one another. But as I've said many times before, contact cement is always the best choice for EVA foam of any kind. You can also use this to cover certain other types of foam that may not react well to contact cement, like XPS board, that's the insulation foam board.
I used 2mm to make this flower head accessory for my Venus Orgajinka.
So 2mm, super versatile. Everybody should have this in their stock of foam. There are other manufacturers that make a higher density 2mm, and I will show you those. Well, I have one of those here, and that is the SKS Props HD foam. SKS is one of the leading brands for EVA foam. Their foam is very high density. It's really nice and easy to work with. But as you can see, the cells on the HD foam are much closer together compared to the craft foam.
EVA foam is usually found in thicknesses between 1 and 12mm, but you can hunt down even thicker, like 24 or even 48mm. Density correlates with how close the cells are. The denser a foam is, the stiffer and smoother it is. Common densities are 38, 50, and 70. You can make a less dense foam look just as smooth as a denser foam by using the right primer.
Most often, I've gotten my EVA foam from TNT Cosplay Supply. I've gotten most of mine from there because the purchasing process was the most simple for me when I started buying EVA foam. This EVA foam is the 6mm. They offer sheets in 24 by 24 or 2-foot by 5-foot. I'm usually getting the 2-foot by 5-foot because I use a shit ton of it. This is just their standard EVA foam. I believe it's the 38, EVA 38. I really like this a lot. They've got all kinds of different sizes. And when I say sizes, I mostly mean thicknesses.
For these large ear-like head accessories, I used high-density 6mm EVA foam. I used 4mm EVA 38 for the base of the ears for my Venus Orgajinka. The detail texture is foam clay and hot glue. This Halo ODST helmet is still a work in progress, but you can see how I combined several layers of different thicknesses on foams to make it.
This is my first order ever of the SKS Props foam. I'm very happy with it. I really like it. I bought a lot. I don't want anyone to get hung up on a brand name. I feel that what you should do is just get experience with different brands, different densities, different shores, and figure out what works for you for your projects. Alright, let's talk about foam clay. Foam clay is super versatile. I love it. It's great. I will say though, there is a learning curve when working with it. I am definitely versed in hand sculpting, but even I had to take some time to get used to this material. It air dries. There's tons of different brands that you can use. This is Cosplay Apprentices, and it's available on Amazon, I believe. This is TNT's as well. I know SKS has it, Lumen's Workshop has it. It seems like everybody has their brand of foam clay. It gives some resistance. It's like a putty almost, it feels like. This does break down in water as well,
So if you want to break it down to a more of a paste, you can then use that to fill in cracks, gaps, things like that. People use it to fill in their foam seams. I personally tend to go with Quick Seal instead because it's more cost efficient. I believe a tub, a 300-gram tub is around like $30 or so, and it kind of doesn't go that far. It comes in a variety of colors, generally black, gray, and white. You can put this directly onto EVA foam if you wet the surface of the foam and then sculpt on top of that. It sticks it into it, so it should cure right directly on it. There's a lot of really great videos on people's experiences working with this for the first time, and it's just really great. I like it a lot.
After your foam clay is cured, you can use contact cement to glue it together or to other foam. You can sand it by hand or dremeling. I don't recommend heat shaping it, as it's much more rigid than EVA foam when dry and will likely snap.
It could be a little less expensive, that would be nice. It's not the same as EVA foam, but it has its purpose. So moving on from that, next I've got some foam dowels. Now these are Yayahan brand EVA foam dowels. I picked them up out of a curiosity and a convenience. They come in multiple different shapes. You can get them triangle bevels, you can get them, I think you might be able to get them square now. You can get them in different sizes. Yes, this is the 15mm diameter, and they're 2 foot for the full length. I mean, yeah, whatever brand you want. It doesn't matter. As long as you're getting your cosplay done, that's what I think. I have used this I've only used this once so far to make a chain, and it worked out really well. I'm really happy with it. I like the surface of this. Like I said, I haven't tried any other brands yet. I definitely am interested in trying other brands. But super convenient to pick these up with a coupon in Joann. So this is PLASTAZOTE. This I got from TNT Cosplay Supply. It's used to help diffuse light from LEDs. So if you put LEDs under this, it helps soften it up and create more of a glow. It's really great if you're going to work with LEDs. You're going to need this. This is a 24 by 24 sheet. I think this cost me about $8 or $9, and I'm really excited about using it. I know I've seen Kamui airbrush color on to this, and you can still see the light come through, so I'm definitely going to be using an airbrush on this one. So we've all seen them in the hardware store, at least most of us, and that's the EVA Foam floor mats. I hate floor mats so much, but they, just like any other kind of EVA foam, have their purpose. If you want to see me work with full sheets, I did that in my pizza delivery sieve spinning pizza prop tutorial. The reason I don't like to work with it is because of this on the back. There's different backing prints that you can find, and sometimes it may work for your project. If this works for you, there's nothing wrong with it. I just rarely find use for it. I use it for mock-ups for big pieces. I used it as a mock-up for the Halo helmet that I commissioned that I'm working on. It's usually like, I think this is a 1/4 inch thick or so. It might be 3/8 or more. It's particularly good if you're just trying to figure out how to work with EVA foam. If you are a shop type of person or know a shop type of person, you can belt sand the back of this print off. I'm just not a huge fan of it. Some people love it. Some people use it all the time, use it for everything, but I don't like it. But it's out there. It's generally pretty affordable. I wouldn't say it's any cheaper than buying foam from a specific cosplay supply retailer, but it's not bad in price. So this is L200 foam. I get this from cosplaysupplies.com, and it comes in a couple of different thicknesses. This is the 1/4 inch thickness. I don't have much of this. All I have is a couple scraps left, but it is super soft and it takes imprints very easily.
I personally don't use this for a lot. I used it for my Star Guardian Poppy build for the armor piece, the main chest plate. It does scratch very easily. If you see, just like that, the surface is scratched. I mean, if you were to scratch it up, there's some things you can do to fix it, but that's another story. So as you see, this stretches really easily without any heat. With this, when you prime it, it has to be a primer that is flexible. So like a Flex Bond kind of, or Flex Seal, I can't remember what it's called, but I'll put a photo of that. This is less common when it comes to foam for armor builds, but it's out there. If you go to use a hot tool on it, it can burn very easily, and you can very easily take too much out of this. L200 is not my favorite foam by any means, but it has its purposes. This is going to be much more of a specific use type of material that you probably won't use very often. So, insulation foam board. That's this stuff. It can come in a variety of colors. The blue, pink, purple, similar to this lilac of the background here. I have several videos about building large props with XPS board. It's a lot of fun. It's a massive mess. I made Orpheus crate out of it, my Lollipoppy hammer, and my Star Guardian Poppy hammer as well. And I'm sure that I'll be using it plenty more in the future because it's very cost effective for how much you get. You can get a 4x8 sheet for like $35 or something like that, in that neighborhood. I usually get mine from Home Depot or like a Lowe's. It's similar to styrofoam, but it's different. You cannot use contact cement directly on this piece or you will melt it. It will melt. So as you can see, it cuts pretty smooth. It does require a lot of sanding to get it to the point where you would need it for most cosplay pieces, unless you're using it for a beginning structure. It is completely rigid. It does not heat shape at all. Heat will melt it. As you can see how much bend it gets before it breaks, not much. So I don't see anyone trying to really make armor out of this. That's not what it's good for. All these different foams have their strengths and their purposes, and this one is not armor. This is expanding foam. This is something that is used to help create more organic or odd shapes. The proper use for it is to fill gaps and cracks like in your garage, in your cement, to help insulate. So I have used this to basically create a whole base and then carve it down by hand with a knife or other, like a Dremel or something like that, to create a completely custom shape. It's great for organic shapes, really weird stuff. It is hard to work with, definitely something that takes some time, but if you're good at sculpting, this might be a great option for you here. When it's all dry, it's super lightweight, so that is one of the major benefits to it. When you use this, you absolutely have to wear gloves. It will destroy anything that it gets on. You want to put down a tarp or a bunch of newspaper. It just makes a huge mess. Be careful when you're using this, and the fumes are really toxic when it's coming out of the can. It needs a lot of time to cure, but I would give it at least like 24, 36 hours to cure. Alright guys, that's about all I have for you today. Hopefully this video was helpful for everybody who is new to EVA foam or other foam products. If you have any questions about the types of foam that I discussed today, or would like some advice on what maybe you should use for your specific build, leave a comment down below. I love answering comments and helping people out, and I would definitely love to do that for you as well. In the meantime, you can always follow me over at SynergyCraft on Instagram, where I post all my work in progress every day, all day long. And remember to subscribe for more cosplay content in the future!